1 year ago, I got on a plane and flew halfway across the world to the Philippines. I left everything behind familiar, my job, my routine, my country. And honestly, I had no idea if this idea would even work out. I was coming here to meet someone I had only known online. And what happened over the next year would completely change my life forever. But somewhere along the way, I realized something that really surprised me. What I spend an entire month living here in the Philippines is less than what I would pay for just rent back in the United States. I'll break down the actual numbers later on in the video. But the cost of living was not the biggest surprise that this year had coming for me. About 9 months into living here, something happened that changed everything. For those of you that are new to the channel, this whole story actually started online. I wasn't one of those guys who was specifically looking for an overseas relationship. It kind of just happened naturally. Sarah and I started talking long distance. I was at a point in my life where moving to another country or living short-term in another country was an actual possible option. I didn't have anything tying me down in the US. I started watching YouTube videos of Americans moving to the Philippines to live a more comfortable life. Then I saw people vlogging their trips on YouTube and making it a steady income stream. And that's when it all clicked. Maybe I could do YouTube and have that as a sustainable income to be able to live abroad and be with my girlfriend Sarah that I had met online. So I packed up my life, flew halfway across the world to see if this relationship was actually real. And honestly, I didn't know what was gonna happen. But about 9 months into living here in the Philippines, something happened that completely changed everything. And around December, Sarah had told me she was pregnant. And suddenly, the story of my adventure wasn't just about moving to another country anymore. Living here in the Philippines has been very different from the life that I had back in the United States. The pace of life here is slower. People seem to focus more on living in the moment. Instead of spending their whole life working toward retirement someday, possibly, if you even get there, which is mainly my case. I don't want to spend my whole life working to hopefully retire at the age of 70, 65, something like that. You don't even know if you're even going to get there. So part of me was like, I want to live in the moment. Yeah, you're risking things like your retirement and, things like that, but just want to, life's never guaranteed. So I decided, let's take the risk. But that doesn't mean everything here is easier. The heat and the humidity can be intense. Brownouts happen very regularly. They're very common here. And that is still one of the hardest I've had to adjust to being here in the Philippines. Sometimes a language barrier can make simple things turn into a little bit more complicated things. And yeah, there are definitely moments where I miss certain things from home, especially the American food. But at the same time, there's something about the lifestyle here that just feels different. If you're ever thinking about moving to another country, what would be the hardest thing for you to leave behind? Over the past year, I've gotten to explore the Philippines with Sarah. We've tried tons of different food. Just living here in the Philippines day by day has just been amazing with her and the family. Earlier, I mentioned the cost of living. So let me go through a rough idea of what life actually costs us right now and also life living in the province. So our life here in the Philippines, we live in the province. So I would say our budget is roughly estimated around $1,000, $1,000 a month. And that's gonna include everything except for rent, since Sarah does own her own house. So our average cost here of our bills, since she owns her own house and we also live in the province, so we're not in the main city, so it's around $1,000 a month minus the rent. We spend about, give or take, $400 on food, and that's not eating out, that's just regular food. And I say that because I do eat a lot of Western foods, not a lot, but every now and then we have to go to S&R, which is kind of like a Costco, and I get a lot of some American foods. So we usually spend about 100 of that. So around 100 of the 400 is budgeted for the American foods. So right now it's a family of 3. So around $400 is pretty good average of what we spend a month, and we eat really, really good. That's where our main cost comes from. After that would be electricity. Electricity is a big one here in the Philippines. It's comparable to the United States. I run my AC probably 50% of the time, sometimes more, sometimes less. I say averages between 50 to 75%. And then our bill for our electricity a month is probably around 150 bucks. So maybe sometimes it's 100, sometimes it's 200. Without me being here, and when it's just Sarah by herself, she's probably spending 50 bucks. So then you have your internet, which we spend about 30 bucks a month for some pretty good internet. Then we have our phone bills. Phone bills average probably 10, 15 bucks a month for 3 lines. Phones here are very affordable if you're just using a phone from the Philippines. You can also add in your, maybe another 30 to 50 bucks a month for if you want to have a US number, like 2 phone numbers at the same time. Then we have the Visa extensions, and that's usually averages at about 30 to 40 bucks a month. And then once a year, you're going to be paying around $100, $150, something like that. I think it's around $100 for your ACR card. So once a year, you're going to be extending your ACR card, which is ACR or iCard, they call it. And that's just like your residence card. So your alien residence card. So once a year for that. So around 100 bucks. And then you have the small things like water. We have water delivered, and then we also pay for our regular water, like tap water. Of course, you can't drink the tap water because I believe it's from the river. I'm not sure, but that's just for bathing. And then we have our water jugs. We have like big, like little 5-gallon jugs or whatever of water delivered. So altogether, I'd say $20, $30 a month for both water combined. So that's your daily drinking water, cooking water, and cleaning water. And again, family of 3. So really affordable for that. So for all those bills, it's around $600 average a month is what we pay, which leaves us for that $1,000 budget. That leaves us with $400 for miscellaneous things. Little chickens walking around. So around $400 for miscellaneous things like gas for our motorcycles, eating out, Netflix, just random costs. So altogether, $1,000. Say you rent somewhere here and you're again living in the province, and we're living in Mindanao. So we're in Cagayan de Oro on Mindanao Island, which is a very southern island of the Philippines. So wherever you live your cost of living is dependent on your lifestyle. So that $1,000, maybe tack in another $300, $400, $500 for rent where we live. So it gives you like a $1,500 budget for everything, including rent. If you're going to be in a big city like Manila, Cebu, BGC, Makati, things like that, everything's gonna go up. So you may average around $3,000. But here in the province, we're averaging around $1,000, sometimes less, sometimes more. So as we move into my second year here in the Philippines, things are a lot different than they were from when I stepped off the plane 1 year ago. Obviously I now have a family. At first we were doing a lot of traveling, having fun, exploring the Philippines, which was a blast. Now I'm kind of a little bit more settled in, and I have a family of 4 that I'm working towards. So life is a little bit different, but I still love it just as much. It's just a different lifestyle. If you had told me 1 year ago what life would be like today, I probably wouldn't believe you. Moving to another country is one of the biggest decisions a person can make. But taking that chance and getting on that plane turned out to be one of the biggest decisions of my life. Do I regret moving here? No. Do I plan on living here permanently? Not really sure. I probably will retire here. I'm still 47, so I got plenty of time to go. But we have talked about Sarah and Sammy going to the US, and the baby, of course, once the baby's born. So that'll be a little later in the future. But we have also talked about retirement would be here in the Philippines. But of course, retirement here is on the table. I still got 23 years to go until I can retire. Her family's here, her roots are here, and we just love the Philippines. And of course, the cheaper lifestyle, I guess you can say, the affordability of living here versus the US. So it's still up for discussion. Would I do anything differently? Probably not. Because everything that happened this year led to where life is now. If you've ever thought about moving abroad or moving to the Philippines, what is that number 1 question that you've always wanted asked? Let me know in the comments below.